Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I'm a voice teacher. Today I'll be reacting to and analyzing the Architects without the performing Royal Beggars live with mostly live things. I am joined with Hiram.
It's me again.
It's Hiram again.
Round
and
two.
I will try to remember to talk into the mic.
Yeah.
And that's the goal from this video, is to talk into the mic.
Ooh, sounds good.
Royal Beggars.
Damn. Crowd sounds good.
He's starting with a little bit more of a do you. It's kind of a whiny sound as larynx rises. I have to pause it because we're almost 30 seconds into this, and that's how fair use works. So, what are you hearing so far?
What I'm hearing is that apparently people overseas can sing way better in key than people here.
Yeah. Live shows. Oh my gosh.
Unless they got some tuning on the audience, man, they sound good.
It sounds good so far. It's really, really heavy instruments, and I assume that he'll get really, really heavy with his voice because the only thing I've heard of him is very, very heavy.
Yeah.
So, pretty standard with like rock, emo. What would you even call this?
I would call it metalcore.
Metalcore. To have that kind of a tone on the voice at the beginning.
I guess it's kind of metalcore. I don't know. People are going to probably say, it's not metalcore, dude. It's like gent, but it's not really gent either. It's loud rock guitars.
I
core.
love loud music. Yeah, good gang vocals.
Yeah. Ah, man.
Okay, first off, to everyone who's been requesting this, you know that I'm like a classical musical theater singer, right? I have no idea what he's doing. It's like some sort of fry scream.
Yeah, it's like the most pushed falsetto head voice thing I've ever heard.
It's very difficult to get that tone of a scream low. That just makes me think, okay, then that's fry, because I am not well enough informed on the different kinds of screams that there are. But it sure sounds like what you're able to get if you kind of just push out a fry in like a really full voice, head voice kind of thing, but there's not a ton of actual voice underneath it.
You know what's crazy is he's not actually pushing that hard.
Yeah.
You know what? So it's like ah! And it's just that, but loud, a little bit louder.
I can't do it.
Yeah. That's like one thing I kind of can do, and he's just got the control. He's like the control master of
That's
it.
the thing about all of these huge sounds, because I know that most of the people who don't like this kind of music have already tuned out, and that's fine. But for some of you who aren't really as familiar with this, like, they're not working very hard. And so the people who make a career as singing very heavy music like this, you can't make a career if you're like stripping yourself every night.
Yeah, you'll be done.
You'll be completely done. And so the people, like, years ago, people would ask how to scream, and on message boards, people were like, well, just smoke a lot and drink a lot and wreck your voice, and that's how you scream, and you get these sounds. That's not what they're doing.
No, not the case.
It's way more controlled, and yeah. Very open vowels.
Yeah.
You do hear a little pitch underneath it, though.
Mm-hmm,
like
for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you think that's mostly just vowel pitch, or is there like something underneath that is like, hey, I'm singing, plus it's this scream kind of filter on top?
I think that it's probably just like I said, just a really, really pushed like like falsetto head voice thing. You know, I mean, I don't even know. Would you call that vowel?
That vowel?
Yeah.
Well, the thing that makes me think that it's just like a vowel type tuning thing is every vowel has its own kind of pitch. So if I go ooh, ooh, ooh,
right.
I'm keeping the same pitch, but it starts tuning different harmonics and makes it start sounding a little bit higher. So with him, it's like the da 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 da. It's almost like he's going from that more narrow shape to a wider one. Ah.
A lot of for sure.
But yeah, his mouth is so big all the time, and that kind of helps get those higher pitches.
Definitely.
Because it's the filter that's bringing out from like the madness that's happening in his throat. Another fantastic sign is that he's able to go between the screams and the cleans, like, right next to each other.
Yes, sir.
And it's, I mean, okay, this is a DVD. There has been some stuff added, probably. Is there anything that you can specifically hear and pick out?
I just think that it's a pretty well mixed version of the board, right? So I don't think there was a ton of stuff in post. I mean, probably a bit, but like nothing crazy. At least nothing to really modulate his vocals any more than what they were live.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, yeah, I think it's pretty. What you're hearing is pretty close to how they are live.
So does the sound guy have like a switch that they flip when they go between the cleans and the screams, or is it basically the same settings throughout the song?
I think it'd be safe to say, with my knowledge of touring and stuff, that he's probably just got some reverb and delay going the whole time.
Okay.
And they probably, the sound guy's probably sitting there just making minor switches, right? But I doubt it's anything crazy drastic.
Anyway, it's because of that, he's obviously not just peaking everything as soon as he starts screaming.
Right.
So it's got to be within a similar range of volume between the singing and the screaming. And obviously the singing is not super loud.
Right.
So that alone, I think, proves like, oh yeah, he's not pushing that hard with his dynamics for the screams.
Exactly. Certainly looks like it, though.
Yeah, and that's half the battle. I think it's illegal to look at something like this and not mention Melissa Cross, and we did in our last video because she's kind of just in charge of screaming. And
she's the authority.
She is the authority with it. From the stuff that I've seen with it, she has to tell people that she's working with, make your face look like you're trying.
Right.
And that's a thing that you kind of have to do with all styles of music, but especially with this one, it is expected to look like you're working really hard, where if you're singing opera music, you might be working way harder than this in certain ways, but you're expected to look like it's the easiest thing in the world. So it's just kind of different expectations. And the more that you can know your craft, know about the genre that you're singing in, the better I think you'll be able to kind of fit into that world, obviously.
100%.
I feel like I'm at like a smoothie bar. On the first listening, he kind of flipped, just a stylistic flip. And then he comes back to the full voice sound and he pulls that up so that it sounds connected.
That specifically right there makes me think that there might be a little bit of pitch correction going on.
You heard some?
I think so. I don't want to say yes because I don't want to get attacked by a billion people, right? But just how clean it was almost a little too clean.
Let's just go with he's awesome.
He's the man regardless.
And he's got fantastic vowel tuning, because you can kind of make things sound like they're pitch corrected. I can't, but you can if you just have really great vowels and you know exactly how to tune each of those harmonics. And so it becomes this silly argument of like, are they using pitch correction? Are they just like amazing and sound like that?
Well, here's the thing too. Pitch correction, isn't going to make you a great singer. So inherently he's already, I mean, it's the proof is in the pudding. He's an incredible singer, right? All this is just making it polished. You're just polishing off a really, really nice car.
I think that, and this is a studio release. I mean, this was not just some person with a camera phone.
Right.
This was a very thought out release.
Right.
Most people at this point are so used to what it sounds like to have someone's voice have correction on it that it sounds wrong if you don't.
Totally.
And so in this situation with it being that polished, like, just my heart is like, maybe there is. But no, he didn't do it. It was all him.
We have totally lost our way. Are you lost in the clouds? Or can you focus? It's ourselves that we will.
He's absolutely not lip syncing, though. Like, that's one thing. You can hear little things that only happen with live vocals.
Yes.
That this guy will scrub out when actually recording someone.
Right.
So that's a really great scream. I mean, it's mostly those high frequencies, but it sounds so full spectrum. It's got this deep end to it.
He's just pushing the right amount of air. It's just unbelievable what this guy can do.
And it's so much of it comes from just the amazing vowels, because when whatever you're making, however he's making it, whether it's vocal fry or whatever is going on down here that I am not as educated about as I'd like to be, the vowel is what shapes that into what we're actually hearing.
Right. It's all coming from right here, here.
But that's still underneath the vocal track.
Yep.
And so it goes through the same vocal track that you use to make any sort of speech or singing. And so the same rules apply of however you adjust it, like that will be what frequencies end up popping out. And so he's got really great full spectrum vowels that are just like blasting everything. And it sounds very open.
It does. Yep.
Yeah, that's got a little bit more.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is definitely some inconsistencies right there, which now makes me believe that it may not be so heavily tuned. Because I heard it just going a couple cents off, right? Maybe, hear me out, maybe the guy is just a wizard machine. Because, this band's already so tight. Maybe he's just a wizard machine. That's all I got to say about that. He's good, man.
Do you know how long these guys have been together?
Yeah, no, but I do know that they've overcome some pretty tragic stuff.
Oh, really?
Their guitar player passed away, and I'm pretty sure that's what this whole song is about. I'm not sure if that's what this song is about, but I know that their new record is a testament to him, and he was really the driving force behind this band, and it's crazy for them to get back together, and kudos to them and their whole families and stuff. It's crazy.
That's super hard.
Yeah, definitely.
So I love the inconsistencies. I didn't hear exactly what Hiram was hearing right there, but when I'm watching a live performance, I want to hear those little weird things going on, because I feel like it gives a little bit of more authentic emotion to it, where, not saying that you can't be emotional and you can't be expressive when you're singing on a studio recording. It's just a little different. And like, there's a reason people still like seeing live music rather than just sitting at home with really good sound systems.
Definitely. I mean, it takes your breath away at the end of the day. It's like if you go see that, especially being a fan of the band, and not only that, being a fan of just heavy music in general, if I was to walk in and just see that fresh ears, never heard this band in my life, they'd probably be like, because it just sounds like he cares so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've never heard these guys before in my life.
Right.
Until we started trying to find this video. And it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so tight. There's not too much to say about it in terms of critique. It's just like, what's making this work well? Well, they've played together hundreds of times.
Yes, sir.
They know how to read each other just by breathing. Like, he doesn't have to think, okay, is someone going to come in? And that cuts out this level of hesitation that I feel a lot of singers have, where
That's a good point.
I'm not sure about my drummer. He kind of sucks.
That's a good
I
point.
love him, but like, he kind of sucks. They don't have to worry about that. It's the same thing with singing with a karaoke track. It sucks because no one's going to follow you if you decide to take a little bit more of time here or stretch things out in different ways. And while they probably have a click track in,
1000%.
I mean, they can play a little bit more
Yeah,
than you can with just like
It's just the real deal.
Yeah.
It's the real deal.
Kind of switching up the style of scream.
You know it's good if it makes you do the back head beat, dude. Let's go backwards.
Gosh, that looks so much fun. Energy.
It's crazy. Which is different from a lot of people, but his scream in volume as opposed to his singing is exactly the same. There's no difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love it.
Talent, practice, handsomeness. Like there are some innate qualities that help you be a superstar. Let's be real. Yeah, they sound phenomenal. The thing about that screaming stuff is it can be taught, not by someone like me, but it can be taught by people like Melissa and who have like spent their whole lives. And I feel like so much of this stuff is just learned by imitation.
1000%.
And then just when you start touring, like people will start giving you hints or whatever. I don't know. How would you suggest someone learn this stuff without wrecking their voice as someone who is a lot more capable of singing that heavy style?
I think that it definitely just takes time and patience, because I feel like people are just going to try to push all of their volume out at one time and just try to hit that note with everything you got, and it's just going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to take time, and it's a delicate balance of, like I said, pushing that head voice and just making it just distort at the same time. And it's really an art. It really is.
Your talk about like the head voice or the falsetto, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Even if you do want to sing this stuff, getting a good foundation of actual clean singing
1000%.
will make this so much easier, because it's the same equipment, and then it's just figuring out the different sounds that you're trying to balance. But in theory, it's no different than balancing a very heavy soprano sound and then that person going around and starting to sing Rihanna or something. Like, they're totally different tones. They have different balances, but like it's the same instrument. So the
1000%.
better that you are at doing one thing, like it absolutely does cross over. So even if you can't find someone, because it is such a specialized teaching thing and it can become pricey quickly, and there are only a few people that like we can even recommend, just go take good lessons and then like see if your teacher is willing to experiment. The main thing is, like, a lot of voice teachers are unwilling to touch this stuff because they're so scared it'll throw everything out. It'll like destroy their voice, and you don't want to have any sort of part in that.
Right.
And there's also the liability aspect. But if you're honest with what you want and you're patient with everything, it's better to get help than to just do it completely alone all the time.
I think that like I said, it's just it's something that is definitely not, you can't jump right into it and be able to do it unless you are that anomaly
Unless
that
you're
can.
Tony.
Oh, Tony, that's right. Shout out Dragged Under again.
Hey Chelsea, I'm not always gonna be all you expect from me.
But yeah, if you listen to enough Architects too, it's gonna take you a long time, and you're probably not gonna do it correctly, but you'll get close.
You'll get close.
Get help though.
Another thing, like, your body will tell you when to stop, and just trust your body. Don't try screaming full out for 20 minutes every day when you're first starting. Like, trust yourself. If you do a line and it hurts, that's your body saying maybe don't do that anymore.
Right.
And go take a break, and then come back with fresh ears and fresh mind and see if you can make a sound that doesn't hurt you, and then just build off of that.
You're actually doing it right when it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And that's just it.
And that's like for regular clean singing, it's the same thing. And people get so caught up in thinking that it needs to be this really intense feeling, and like when you're singing high and loud, like you need to have all of this pressure and all of this sensation, and it's just not true. Like, it's so much less sensation than people give it credit for, than what new singers think it needs to be. And so a lot of times when I'm working with people, it's like, wait, was that right? Because it doesn't feel like anything, and people are actually, they will resist the change,
right,
because it feels too easy. And that's where you have to just fake your face and make it look harder.
Yep.
1000%. Anything else?
That's good for me, man.
Yeah.
It's so good for me.
Shut up. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, YouTube stuff, share this video.
Rock.
Go follow him on Instagram and me as well, because I'm desperate
I'm desperate. Rock music.